Right, okay, so this is the game so far. You can see it on the right-hand side of the screen. Obviously, there's no art or anything. It's super basic. But you have a button, and then we have a cube, and you can press the left or the right side of the screen to move the cube, and you need to collect the other cubes. It's just going to be like a little tiny mobile project, right? Like, nothing super crazy. It's based on, like, a game I made in university a few years ago. This is obviously, like, a super crappy, basic version of it, right? Like, you look at this and go, oh, this is shit. It's just like, well, yeah, this is 2 days of dev time in. Of course it's going to be a bit shit. But today, what I wanted to focus on, with the couple hours I have, is I was just going to... this is the third day. I was just going to try to clean up this gameplay a bit more. Make something, like, actually playable. Paused. Return, right? So if we try to change the pause state, but we've already changed the pause state this frame, just fucking don't, right? But this would work a lot better if this was deferred to, like, the end of the frame, but that's okay, whatever. But yeah, okay, so my plan is, yeah, every frame we check whether it... We set this bool to this bool. So if a game is paused, we'll remember that it's paused, and if it isn't, we'll remember that it isn't. We'll try to change the pause state, and if the pause state isn't the same as the previous pause state, then we've already changed this frame, so we don't want to fucking do it again. So we'll do that. That's my plan. We'll see if this works. Alright, here we go. Okay. Several alterations later. Does this work? Hooray! I can pause and unpause of escape. Okay, so pausing and unpausing of escape works, because I also have that echo thing, so even though I hold escape, it doesn't, like, pause buffer. Oh, what? No, wait, I could add pause buffering in. I'm adding pause buffering in. I'm intentionally not going to have echo. This is gonna be so shit. Yeah! So it works when you just press it, but if you hold it... Yes! Oh my god, look at the pause buffer. The pause buffer strats. Okay, alright. See? I was being a bad game developer, a bad speedrunner game developer. I was about to program out a bug. But it's a harmless bug and I might as well just let it be in, right? There we go, see? Hooray! Right, okay, anyway. We have 2 red cubes in the pause menu. One goes back to gameplay, one goes to the main menu. And I can also pause and unpause of escape. Hooray! I did it! Fucking hell. Oh my god, what a nightmare that was. Okay, so here's what I'm thinking about for the gameplay. So, state. So, the global controller just handles the overarching game state. Right, so we just have whether we're on the intro screen, or the main menu screen, or the gameplay screen. That should be all handled by the game state. Then the game state, depending on the global controller, depending on these states, creates scenes which have other controllers in them. So we got the game controller and the main menu controller. The naming is all over the place with these. Maybe I should rename these classes. But so the game controller, which is the gameplay controller, handles like the gameplay state. So whether we're in the intro with the gameplay, which would be like, you know, an animation of your character flying in, or oh, shit, threw my pen away, or whatever else like that, right? Then running is just like the main gameplay loop, and then end is like, you know, oh, you died, here's your score, and here's the high score of all your friends and all that stuff, right? Like that sort of screen, right? So that would be that. And then the main menu screen will also have its gameplay. It's a main menu state. So the main menu will have its own state, and that's like, you know, whether we're on the title screen, or whether we're in the options menu, or whether we're in, like, you know, credit screen or anything like that, right? Like that would be in the main menu's game state. So we have, instead of having it all in the global controller, the global controller doesn't know what the gameplay is doing. It just knows that it is. That's all it needs to know. And then the gameplay controller handles everything else. I think that makes way more sense. So we sort of like, instead of I could just put it all in the global controller, but then this is going to get absolutely fucking massive and disgusting, right? So, you know, if I want menu stuff, I go to the main menu. If I want game control, I go to the game controller, blah, blah, blah. It makes this so much simpler, yeah. And then, like, this is better architecture as well, because if we had multiple devs, like, one person would work on the main menu, the other person would work on the gameplay, and they wouldn't need to, like, interact, like, both edit global controller, right? So, this makes a lot more sense. I like this a lot more. I just need to rename these damn classes. We gotta do this. Let's do main menu controller. Oh, hey, thanks. How do I...
Hella Chonky just subscribed.
I need to... There should be a rename that option. There we go. That should work. That should have worked, I hope. Let's build and see what happens. That does work. Okay. Fantastic. So main menu controller, and then I can rename this script to main menu controller. Okay. That deletes it from there, but then I can open it, and hopefully everything's fine. Okay, right. Build that. Okay, that's better. That's a much better... That's a good rename. That's a good rename. And thanks Hella Chonky for the tier 1 sub. Hello, and Kazkujin. Did I say that already? I may have said Kazkujin already. But yeah, thanks Hella Chonky. Oh, this is content. With which paradigm do we confuse Josh today? What? And hello, Melis. I would expect San Andreas 2, not GTA 6. That's tomorrow's title. But yeah, okay. So main menu controller, global controller, and I guess I should rename this gameplay controller. And we'll rename the script to gameplay controller. Okay, that's much better. Okay, right, the name is a lot more consistent now, the naming. I think I need to rename the scenes as well though, right? The scenes can fucking be named the way they are, whatever, it doesn't matter. Okay, and the game still works. Yeah, and nothing is horrendously broken. Okay, fantastic. Alright, okay. See, like, I'm not making much progress in gameplay-wise, but I am, like... This is just fundamental, like... system building, right? Like, I need to do all this low-level architecture stuff in order to progress. Because this is the stuff that I don't do when I make a game jam game. I just, like, do the first thing that comes to my head, get it done, and then, like, jankily build upon it. And then, later on, I realize that the system's fucked and it's too late to change it. Yeah, I'm making it easier for future Josh to build the game out, exactly. I'm just making, like... I'm making the foundation of a house, instead of, like, rushing the foundation and then having to jank the house on top of it.
FS said _ just resubscribed for 28 months.
So this is just better. I need to stop getting upset with how long this is taking. Remember that this is really important, and I'm making, like... I'm making the foundations very slowly, and this is good. When curling... Exactly, curling's foundations are completely fucked. Like, Twitch plays curling. Exactly. So, it's exactly why we're not doing that this time. Not a game jam game. Nice and slowly. And thanks FSZ __ for 28 months of Prime. Hello. Past Josh is not a prick. He thinks about future Josh. Yeah. Alright, but with that said... I think it is time I did something fun and work on gameplay a bit more. Let's not worry about more architecture stuff. Let's actually work on gameplay for a second. So after much debate, we've come to the conclusion that the boost buttons that we need to add before I make any more gameplay, because boosting is like a core mechanic to the original Blockris I made, we'll have extra buttons on the side. So the further you click on the side, the booster goes. But like... I think it will need to be visual at that point. Like, it won't be able to be not visual, but that's fine. I can have like a little transparent thing like this, and this can both be transparent to explain what they are. Like, we can have a little transparent box here with a left arrow on it, and then a boost button here, right? This is the sort of thing that we can sit here and debate this till the cows come home, or whatever that saying is. But as soon as I give a phone with the game running to someone, and they haven't talked about this for ages, and they try it, they're going to go, and be confused, right? That's probably what's going to happen. And I can only really easily test with people a limited amount. Like, I can test with Faye, because she's not paying attention to these streams or the game design or anything. So I can give her the phone and be like, play this, but like, she'll remember from last time, so we can only do that once. Can we just have the boost transparent and leave normal buttons invisible? But then if we have any buttons on the screen, you expect there to be buttons for everything? I feel like everything being transparent is fine. It's not going to look like this. This is just a random fucking paint thing I've drawn, obviously. We'll make it look nice. But that's just, yeah, for the concept, you're going to need both drawn, I think. Okay, right. So let's try to add... Okay, this boost thing. So the gameplay controller in the input, we have... If we're touching in one position or the other, we set the direction. We're going to need, like, boost as well. It's kind of weird how the gameplay controller is handling the input for the player, but I guess that's just how I implemented it. It just tells the player to move in that direction and stuff. Yeah, I'm going to do it like that. Let's just try to implement this real quick. Okay, so we implemented the boost buttons on the side, so it's a bit difficult to show on PC, but we got on the center, if you move around on the center of the screen, the cube moves normally, but if you move to the edge, see, it's a bit subtle maybe, but if I move the mouse to the edge, the cube moves much faster. It makes a lot more sense on mobile using like your thumbs and stuff here, like I can go really fast over here. And then over here. But there's like a 200 pixel limit on either edge of the screen that if you press down on the edges of the screen, the cube goes faster. There's no like limitation to how much you can boost right now, so there's not really any reason not to do it. Whoops. But this is way more intuitive on touchscreen. But yeah, for the sake of showing it on stream, I'll play on PC. But yeah, for now, I think that works. Not having a visual visual demonstration of the boundaries is a bit weird, but it works for now. Yeah, this is a lot better. Okay, so boosting is implemented. That was one thing I was worried about with the game, was like how to get that implemented with the control scheme. So I'm glad brainstorming it, we found a way that works. Initially, I wasn't a fan of it, but I think it is probably the most intuitive way to do it. Just have your fingers more on the sides, click more to the left and the right to make it move more that way, you know, like, it makes sense. Yeah, it's a bit weird on PC because obviously I have to keep my cursor in the center of the screen, and not click where I want the cube to go, but that'll be what the slider control method is for. To have it for, have it so you click or you press where you want the cube to actually go. Oh no, I missed one, fuck. God, I'm sat here playing the game. Right, anyway, let's not do that. Now let's implement the spiky enemy, so I have something to dodge. I'm just going to work on gameplay today, make the game a bit more fun. So I think for the spiky enemy, for the time being, I'm just going to rotate the cube 45 degrees. I assume rotation is a thing. So I'm just gonna spawn it, yeah, 45 degree angle. That'll do, right? Let's see. Is there a rotation in the transform? There is a rotation, yes, perfect. Okay, we'll just do that. Right, I'll implement this real quick. Okay, so I made the enemy class an abstract class, and you know, we've got some things that aren't abstract, but then a bunch of things that are. And then I made two different new classes. We've got basic enemy class and a spiky enemy class. That just inherit from the enemy class. So now I have an enemy, and its type is a different class. It's just how this should work. When stuff gets a little bit more complicated, this will be pretty useful, right? So anything that all of the enemies do is in the enemy code, and anything the individual enemies do differently to the others is in their own individual code. Fantastic. And I made two enemies. We got the basic enemy and spiky enemy in the editor. And now when I run the game, we have the sideways enemy, which is the spiky enemy, and I touch it, I lose a life. Hooray! And if I don't touch it, I gain points. Hooray! So now there's actual gameplay variety. Different types of enemies. I'll need to come up with more. I'm calling them enemies, but I don't really know if that's the language I'll use in the actual game. But that's just what they're going to be called for now. But yeah, actual gameplay is happening. I'm making decent progress on gameplay. Again, I'm going to keep saying this. Way slower than Game Jam progress, but I'm doing everything correctly instead of just doing it, right? Okay, I actually need to concentrate now, and the game's actually getting difficult. Obviously, this is just the test scene. The actual balanced game or whatever will be nothing like this. And all of their hitboxes are a bit scuffed. Oh, they can poke out the edge of the screen. Yeah, obviously, I'm just rotating the fucking default red pixel by 45 degrees to make a different enemy type, right? Yeah. So it's like sometimes you need to hit a thing, sometimes you need to not hit a thing. I need to make like now that I have the individual enemies code like this, I could make it so an enemy like goes like wiggles like sideways or whatever as it falls down. We could add like a special bonus one that goes faster or something. You know, the possibilities are endless now. Yeah. Just good old foundational structural changes. Fantastic. I'm going to keep playing until I lose now. I want to see what points I can get. Oh, that's another thing I want to do. I love statistical tracking stuff. I love a game that has a really good stats screen, like Minecraft's. So I need to figure out how to write to disk, or memory, or whatever. To disk, I guess. I need to figure out how to write to disk, and we need to have, like, a file that keeps track of lots of statistics, like a storage thing. Maybe I'll use XML. In the olden days, I would just write a text file and just like write a parser for the text file, but I think just, you know, using C#, I'll just write an XML thing. People will probably scream at me to use JSON instead, but using JSON and C# without adding a bunch of like DLLs is a pain in the dick, so. Although, mind you, I'm using .NET 7 for this code now. Yeah, Newtonsoft.json, exactly. I don't want to use that. Can it be a global storage for worldwide records? I could program a server for this. To have, like, yeah, leaderboards and stuff. But once we start talking about server-side stuff, this is getting a lot more complicated once we add in networking and what kind of anti-cheat would I have? Am I going to have replay files? You know, like... If I have replays, then the game's going to need to be deterministic, ideally, so that I can just record player inputs to the replay file like Trackmania does. But yeah, to do that, the physics will have to be deterministic. Which they are, but the spawning is not deterministic, right? The spawning is random, and that's kind of how it should be. I would have to write a, like, deterministic... Like, I guess I could use, I guess I could record the... I could make a function that... Yeah, I could save the seed, right? I could write the seed down... Yeah, that's right. I could just write the seed into the... I could write the seed into the replay file and then just seed the RNG with, like, the exact... I could use the Unix timestamp, right? Just use a Unix timestamp for the seed at the when the game, like, begins. So the replay file will also have, like, a... Oh, the game started, was recorded at this point or whatever. That seems fairly decent, actually. We could do that. Oh, I lost. What was my score? I didn't see it. Oh, no. We need to record the score. Okay, alright. We'll work on that next. So, what did we achieve today? We polymorphized the enemies so that we could have the different enemy types. Right. Yeah, so made enemies... we made an inherited class, so an abstract class of enemy, so that all the enemies can just be of type enemy and just only implement the things that they do differently. We renamed the controller classes to be consistent. Added the first basic run of boosting mechanic. Yeah, if you touch the edge of the screen, you boost in either direction, which is okay for now. Then I added stats, a ton of stats. Yeah, and added basic boost logic to the player. Nothing crazy, but also moved like where the player's movement control and stuff was stored. Oh yeah, added Alt-Tab pause detection. So if you pause, if I tab out of the game, it pauses, which is great. And if you tab out on mobile, it also pauses. Oh yeah, the stats, the static class, player music, alt tab, and then I added some more stats, and I changed the RNG. So now that it's, I changed the RNG so now that it's repeatable if I want to. I'm not currently doing that, but say in future if I had replay files or whatever, or verifiable high scores, the seed would be pretty essential. Maybe I could let people write a custom seed in, so you could try to hunt for the perfect seed or whatever. Whoops, I clicked out the game. Good thing it paused. Okay. Yeah. Still haven't really done that much gameplay stuff, but it's getting there. Like, obviously this is like super unpolished. Graphics would go a long way, and graphics would go a long way. Sound is also a thing I'm not really sure how I'm gonna do. I'm gonna have to just get music and stuff. But yeah, at least it works. I mean, it's like totally playable even in this state. Boxes gathering other boxes and avoiding rhombuses. Yes. Yes, fuck, we hate rhombuses here, or diamonds, or whatever you want to call them. Okay. Cool, okay. Well, that'll be me done for today. End of day 3. That's what the game looks like. Fantastic. I think I forgot to record the YouTube. Press the YouTube record button a bunch. So I have no idea what this is going to look later, but look like later on YouTube. But yeah. Endless Runner. I would call it an arcade game. I clicked out the game again. But yes, I suppose. Add combos with score multiplier? No. We're gonna do like difficulty scaling. Like the score's just going up by 100 each time right now, which is nothing obviously, but we need to do like this like difficulty logic and then figure out how that would affect the score. Yeah, I'm happy with how the controls are. On mobile, they're a lot better than they are on PC. But that's fine, I'm making mobile first at the moment. PC is like a lot easier to do, I just do keyboard controls, right? Imagine if the cubes were ROMics. Yeah, I know. But then their size gets messed up if I do that. Because right now, this is like a 1 by 1 pixel, the texture. And I'm just setting their size in the editor to like 128. If I make them a ROMic, I'd have to change their size to like 1, and then it's gonna fuck everything up. Mobile as Leap Apple. Well, yeah, I'm making a little mobile game. Would be. Oops, shit. Ah, bugger. No, I'm gonna lose. This is gonna be recorded as my high score, isn't it? Oh yeah, I can look at my stats at the end of this. Now I have stats. Oh, don't hit those, Josh. Okay, I need to not try hard this, otherwise I'm going to be here forever. Because obviously there's no difficulty right now. It's like 1 cube per second, and it's so easy to win this. But this is a lot more fun on mobile, like tapping the screen to move left or right, as opposed to clicking. But I'm getting there. I'm getting there. I got 10 million off stream chat. Yeah, I'm up to 200,000 to 20,000. Oh baby, I'll lose any minute now. Oh fuck. Okay, that's right. That's right. Okay, I should probably just end this. All right, I'll just end it. I'll be there forever otherwise. Yeah, and the stats. There you go. My high score, which is also my latest score. And I like going left more than right, apparently. And I've hit 148 blocks, and I missed 138 of them. Or dodged, maybe, or whatever word we should use. And that should be being calculated every frame, not just once. And we want this. Above this. Okay, so now everything should slowly zoom out as the game goes on. And it is. Look, we're slowly zooming out. Okay. This is working. Obviously, this is like horrendously too fast, but for the sake of testing, we just wanted to do this. Yeah, so the game... Yeah, okay. I did it! Difficulty scaling. Hooray! Mechanics. So the game is slowly getting harder as the game goes on. Just based on, like, the size of the play field. Hooray! Okay, good. And it's all just done in maths, and I don't need to manually do anything. And this can go on forever. We should set a cap, obviously, because at some point things will be too small to see, but... Don't be on the other side of the map! At least now I will eventually lose. Oh my god, get over there. Oh, I missed one. I guess I'd also want to move the player down. The player's position should be, like, based on its scale as well. Because we're kind of moving up doing this. Because there's loads of space down here now that we don't need. Ugh. Oh god. Oh god. Oh fuck, I clicked out the game. Oh no, I'm out of boost. Get out of the way, diamond. No, I got it. Okay, I'm still going. Oh fuck, boost. No, I can't boost over there. I have to accept that one's gone. Yeah, oh yeah, this is unplayable now at this size. I'm just gonna die. There's nothing I can do, really. Oh fuck, yeah, fuck that. That's way too far. I'm way too slow now. Ah. What was my score? 99. Yeah. Oh, one more and I would have got 10,000. Yeah, okay, so we should also move the player down as it scales out. Okay. Let's do that. Let's move the player down as it scales out. Yeah, it looks so massive now at the start. Okay. Yeah, this just works. Like, I actually just did all this maths by myself. It was actually not as difficult as I thought. I managed to get, this sorted out. And it all makes sense, it's intuitive, and yeah, it just looks natural. Like, it doesn't look like I'm getting slower, it just looks like I'm getting smaller. Oh shit. This is cool. We're very nice, but where are the video ads that let me continue after I die? Oh fuck, I missed that one. Whatever. Yeah, maybe the boost regenerates a little too slowly, to be honest. The boost should regenerate faster than that. Yeah, but we need to move down. Like, the position needs to, position.y needs to be something plus scale divided by 2. So right now, where is the player being spawned? We are spawning the player at 1,600. So when we process the scale, we need to do position equals new vector 2 position.x, and then we need to do 1600 wait, I'm at 1600 when the cube is big, so then we'll be, the bottom of me will be at 1664. So we always want the bottom of the cube to be at 1664. So I need to do how do I get there right now? So if the player is 128, it's 166. Oh no. It should be we should do the target minus transform.scale.y divided by 2, right? That's it. Like that. So I should be moving down as I scale down now. Yeah. So the bottom of the cube, if I put my mouse where the bottom of the cube is, it doesn't move. See? It always stays where the bottom of the cube is. Whereas the top of the cube is the thing that's moving downwards. See, it's like moving below my cursor now. Changing player pivot to bottom so scaling doesn't change. I could do that. We could change that scaling, but if I ever do like rotation or anything, that's going to get fucked up. I'd rather just like manually move the player down, honestly. I'd rather do that to uncomplicate, because in future I'm going to assume that the pivot point is the center. Yeah, okay. So there's like this much room at the bottom of the screen, as there always is now. Okay. This also helps a bit, obviously, because I'm moving down the screen now and not up it, or I'm moving down the screen as opposed to not moving the screen at all, so I'll always have the same amount of time to hit stuff. Yeah, okay. Alright, okay, difficulty scaling is working. Obviously the difficulty calculation is nothing right now, it's just a number that goes up over time, and it's just completely dumb. But it's something. The scaling works. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, like some enemies can travel diagonally, right? So we want, possible enemy types. Let's just like brainstorm a few enemy types real quick. So we currently have the basic enemy, moves straight down, wants to hit. We have we've got the spiky enemy, moves straight down, don't want to hit. What else do we want? Yeah, so diagonal, diagonal moving enemy. Yeah, enemy that shoots once when the player goes under it. I have that written here, right? Add shooting enemy that shoots a bullet you need to dodge, but you want to hit the enemy. That's written down. Diagonal moving enemy. Have a shooting enemy. Shoots when player under it, but wants to hit it. I can get rid of this now. Shouldn't really be a to-do. It's like a note I want. Oh, an enemy that could become a different enemy. Oh shit, that's fancy, yeah. Like a transforming enemy, it becomes another random enemy. Yeah, that's good, that's good. What else? A DVD screensaver enemy bounces from left to right. Same as diagonal moving. Oh, question mark. Because becomes... I'm really not worried about, like, typos and stuff like that. I mean, that one makes it a little bit difficult to understand, so I'll fix that. But, like, spelling mistakes, like, I don't really care. We can keep working on these enemy types. But let's implement a... Like, all of these could have a spiky variant or whatever. Some status changing enemy, reversing controls. Or one you want to hit, but it reverses controls. Yeah? Status changing enemy. Wants to hit, but does something like reverse controls. We want a boost giving enemy slash power up giving enemy. Imagine an enemy that you can create a line between it and another enemy of the same type. You hit the wire, you die. Thanks. Oh yeah, we got different shapes,
Just
can't we?
gifted Godot T game developer a subscription. TS Just gifted a tier 1 sub to Godot T game developer. They have given 22 gift subs in the channel.
Thanks TS Joss for giving a sub to Godot game developer. An enemy that creates a line between it and another enemy of the same type. Yeah, so like a wire enemy. So a wire enemy creates a wire between it and another that kills you if hit. Optional to hit block. So we can make it so like, yeah, it's like optional to hit it. Optional to hit. Like you don't lose, I put a semicolon then. Like maybe you don't lose lives if you hit some of them. Or if you miss some of them, sorry. Yeah. We're doing something like a shmup style game. Kind of. I can show you what it looks like. It's like a shmup, but without you shooting any bullets. So like, yeah, sort of, I suppose. It is kind of like a shmup. So like, yeah, blocks fall down from the screen and you need to just hit them. Right now we have two types of enemies. We've got the basic one and the spiky one, which is just 45-degree rotated one. Yeah, and the game like zooms out over time. But yeah, I guess it is kind of like a shmup. I haven't thought of that. That is a somewhat decent way of explaining what this is. Like a mobile game shmup. Yeah. Where like you don't shoot or anything, it's just all about hitting the... Because I never liked in shmups how they were all about you avoiding the bullets and not really about where you were shooting. So I felt the shooting was just like kind of pointless. Like like bullet hells, for example. Like in bullet hell shmups, you just like the screen is full of bullets and you need to avoid them all, right, and not touch them. And where you're shooting is completely, like, to you, irrelevant. It matters a lot in the game, obviously, because you need to kill the enemies, but you don't look at where you're shooting. You just look at where the fuck you are and try to live. This is kind of like that, in the sense that you're not shooting, the way you're aggressive is also where you're positioned. So this is just all about your positioning. I'm not looking up here to see what I'm shooting. It's like, yeah, it's like a very similar concept. A passive shmup, yeah, kind of. But like, yeah, you're just focused on where you're positioned and nothing else. I guess we could have like some bullet hell elements, right? We could have like a wall of enemies that spawns and you need to like traverse through them correctly. That is a thing we could do. Yeah, the difficulty's increasing way too fast, obviously. Oh, hey, thanks.
Fontini just resubscribed for 20 months. Game's looking good.
Thanks, Fontini. Thanks for 20 months of Prime. Is it? It's just a bunch of red squares, but at least they scale now. It's somewhat dynamic. Anyway, yeah, these are the enemy types. We can keep working on some more. Let's add some of these and just get a feel for this, and we can like try to change the spawn rate and the speed at which cubes move. I think right now the cubes spawn too fast, but don't move fast enough. Like, they're on the screen for so long, and it only increases as we zoom out, right? So, but the distance is like the distance between them just gets bigger, doesn't it? As we get smaller, the distance between the enemies increases because we're not increasing the enemy spawn rate. Maybe the enemies don't go faster, you know, but maybe we just have different speeds for them. But yeah, this is like a shmup. I'd never thought of that before. You're so right. It is just, it's a passive shmup. I've accidentally invented a new genre. I have created a passive shmup. I like that. I like that. I've got the elevator pitch for the game now. Hooray! I know how to elevator pitch this. It's a passive shmup. Okay, YouTube, here's update. It's 3 PM. Jesus. 3 PM on day, what is this, 4, 5, 3 of work? Right now, I haven't updated for a while, so I'm going to do it now, but we've got difficulty in, sort of. So the cubes are zooming out as the game goes on. I'm trying to get the rate at which the difficulty increases correct, but it's like pretty tricky. The cubes are scaling way too fast still. Like, the difficulty is going up too much, but the fact that it works is good. Yeah, the difficulty increases whenever I hit a cube, and if I hit, you know, a chain of cubes in a row, it goes up more. So the more I hit, like, without missing any, the more the difficulty goes up, which I'm starting to think should be maybe the only way it goes up, instead of also, it's also based on how many points you miss right now. Yeah, let's see there. It's not being, like, smoothly lerped between or anything, but the difficulty jumps loads when you miss some cubes to make the game easier. Oops, shit. But that's because, you know, you can only miss, like, 5, because you only have 5 lives. So if you miss 5 in a row, you die anyway, so the difficulty really needs to, like, ramp down if you miss one, I think. It probably needs to ramp down more, to be honest. The players, yeah, the cubes scale, so it looks like we're zooming out, but we're not actually. We're like, the cubes is getting smaller and slower. So we're like zooming out on both axes or whatever, but I feel like the cubes and the player shouldn't, their speeds shouldn't scale linearly with their scale. So it should do like, the cubes, like, yeah, the cube and the player keep getting faster the more zoomed out we get, which makes sense. So I should probably do that. But yeah, this is like, the game is actually getting somewhere. Obviously, yeah, we're at like, the difficulty is increasing way too fast, way too hard, way too fast, but it's in at least, and it works. And obviously there's still no spawner logic, it's just spawning, like, random, doesn't take into account the difficulty or anything at all. Yeah, it would actually be nice if it zoomed out, like, with mini motorways. Well, that is what's happening, what? It is zooming out. What do you mean? Have you not noticed the scale of everything increases? The game field gets bigger the more you get. But yeah, anyway, yeah, it's the difficulty is ramping up way too fast. I'm gonna change it so that it only increases with I'm only going to make so it increases with the amount you hit in a row and not the points of the thing that you, whenever you hit. Let's try that. May I suggest splitting behavior logic into separate provider classes so that balancing and modifying behavior becomes easier? Yep, that's a sentence. You may suggest it, yes. As you said, it doesn't zoom out, the boxes just get smaller. Okay, but like, it's fake zooming out. It's fake zooming out. I can't actually zoom out for reasons, but it's fake zooming out. I think the player speed should be tied to the rate of enemy spawn. For example, be able to move from one side to the other in time it takes for the next enemy to spawn. Yeah, I guess, but like, I don't know if it should always... I was about to say, I don't know if it should always be possible to hit a cube, but I guess it should be. You just need to, like, position yourself and, like, pick which cube to hit when or whatever. Yeah, just for later with background graphics. Oh yeah, sure. I mean, I could scale the backgrounds the same that I scale all of the cubes. Like, yeah, definitely. Ah, fuck, that one was a bit shit. I think it's a bit difficult to determine how possible it is to hit any different given cube at any given moment. Maybe it's possible. But I mean, that's what the boost is supposed to be for, is to help you hit those impossible ones, I guess. I guess the boost mechanic just needs to be a bit more fleshed out. Because yeah, if you get into a situation where you just kind of get a bit screwed, you should be like, it should be the boost that you use to... Ah, fuck it. To overcome that. Sorry, it's just, yeah, lots of me playing the game now, just getting a feel for things and like thinking about what I want to do. And I'm doing alright this round. The thing is, I'm also not playing with the, fuck. I'm not playing with the intended controls, right? Yeah, the spawn rate is, like, messed up. This is, like, not correct at all. We need to actually work on that instead of just having it be random. But yeah, we should, we need to, it's just lots of tweaking now. But at least I'm doing gameplay things now and not just architectural things, which is nice. So yeah, I need to tweak numbers and test the game and just make little tweaks like that. Yeah, that's what we are, YouTube. There you go. There's your update. Hello again, YouTube. It's day 5. I'm going to lose track of that at some point. Whatever, it doesn't matter how many days in it is. But I need to do a little update because I worked on the game a little bit offline while I wasn't streaming or streaming other things. Let me just sort this out. Boop, boop. Trigger that. Not that one. No. That one. Oh my god. No. Oh my god. Eventually I'll get there. That. There we go. Okay, great start to the YouTube video. So, I've added a... I just did a few little tiny tweaky, like, game feely things. So I added this, like, background, which is obviously a work in progress, but it's just a black background with, like, little dots on it that, like, twinkle. They're supposed to be stars. We're in space or whatever, right? So you can see the stars, like, they change size slowly over time, and they, like, scroll down slowly, and when the stars reach the bottom, they get put back up to the top in a random place, so it just looks like we're scrolling through, like, a universe or whatever forever. And then if I start the game, if you pay attention to the background starts to scroll faster, so it looks like we're actually, like, traveling through space or whatever. It's like a parallax effect, right? I also added little randomizations to all the enemies and stuff, so all the enemies have a slightly random angle that they spawn at now. I think it's only like 5 degrees or something like that. But they also, yeah, they spawn at random angles, slightly random scales, which affects their speed, because the speed is determined by the scale. So it's only like a little tiny variation. It's just to make it so it's not so, like, clinical with, like, oh, they spawn once every second and then that's it, right? just so everything's a little bit more random. Yeah, like, here we go. I think the scale and the speed is a little too random, because sometimes, yeah, stuff is like overtaking other stuff, which I don't particularly want, but that's alright. I can sort of tweak the values on that. But yeah, I just made it so there's a little bit of variation and stuff. Obviously, there's still no art, really. Everything's just a red square still. But I think even just this change, like having like slightly random characteristics of the enemies, it's just like a game feel or a juice or whatever change, right? Like just so it's not the same, exactly the same spawn, exactly the same clinicalness every single time. But yeah, I think the game looks a lot nicer now. It's starting to actually look like a video game. Obviously, we've got debug text and everything's just a red square, but you know, it's definitely progress. But yeah, these were just like two little tiny things I did when I was offline. I don't think there was anything else I did. Maybe I tweaked some values or something. I was just like messing around it occasionally for a couple hours every night. But yeah, that's the stuff I didn't do on camera. That was my off-screen mining that I did. And yeah, now I'm stuck playing the game because it's just kind of fun to play even without any like proper game feel stuff. Give me this and this. Did all this in 5 days. Funny, Avalor. I feel like I've been playing like I feel like I've been working really slowly, if anything. I don't feel like I've done that much. Like game jam, the university game jams that I normally do would be over by now. Like it's only 4 days long, so I've already spent way longer than I normally would on any game. But that's good though. I've been like doing everything, correctly and slowly, just implementing stuff very correctly. Speaking of implementing stuff correctly, in the spawner, I was thinking about it a lot, and I've decided to completely change how the spawner thing works. So up to now, I've been using this thing where I just have a list of spawnables. And they have, like, you know, the number of things to add to the like, I have a grab bag, right? A random bag. So there's a bag with a bunch of enemies in it. The game will take one out, and it will spawn that one. And when the bag's empty, it will refill the bag based on what the difficulty and stuff is. So here's the stuff to fill the bag with. So we've got a basic enemy, 7 of them. And if we're between difficulty 0 and 1.25, it'll actually add this. If we're between 2.25 and 1.5, it'll only add 6 basic enemies, and etc, etc, goes down, right? And then I had the spiky enemy and the 1-ups, which I had to jankily add some bulls for to get them to spawn the way I wanted to. And then DVD enemies and stuff. So it was like, the problem with this is that it doesn't react to things. So like, only when the bag is empty does it check the current difficulty and then go through the list of things to do. So then, yeah, then it goes through the list of things to do and checks, like, which enemies to spawn and stuff. And I also have to, like, write things, like, a ton. It's kind of, like, not great. And, like, yeah, these janky bulls. I'm just gonna have to keep adding more and more janky bulls at the end for, like, one-time spawns and spawns again and stuff like that. And there's just, like, no logic to it other than doing the bull stuff. And yeah, it doesn't react fast enough, and I don't want to have to keep rewriting stuff forever, and it's also, like, not procedural. Like, I'm basically designing the level, like, up to a certain point, and then after that, the difficulty will stop, the enemies will stop changing, right? Like, I could obviously make a really big list of this, but I'm not a super fan of how it's working. So, I thought about it a lot, and I decided to do this. This is a bit too long to fit on the screen. I'll zoom out a tiny bit, hopefully you can read that. But I wanted to try to do this different spawning method. So I wanted to make a class. So I'm going to make a class for each possible spawnable enemy and create a list with each enemy in it. So I'll make like a class for the basic enemy, a class for the spiky enemy, a class for the 1-up, and a class for a DVD. And then starting from the least likely to spawn to the most likely, I'll make a function for spawning. I'll make a list with them, and I'll make a list of every single enemy, starting with the least likely to spawn and going down until, like, the most likely. So the basic enemy with the last thing. And I'll make a function for spawning conditions and spawning procedure in those classes. So then I'll get a random RNG weight value, like I was doing before. And then I'll iterate over the whole list and check if spawning condition is true. So in spawning condition, I'll pass it, like, I'll pass the spawning condition, like the weight RNG value, so it can use that to determine whether it should spawn or not. But if we're like, if difficulty hits a threshold and I'm like, right, I want to spawn one spiky enemy now to teach the player about it, like exactly right now, then I'll do it, and I can overwrite the weight value with the spawning condition function, right? So I'll in each enemy, I'll have a spawning condition function, method, whatever you want to call it, that I'll call. And if it returns true, I'll spawn it. So I can do complicated stuff like, yeah, just RNG weight, right? Or I can just, yeah, if we reach a difficulty threshold, spawn one enemy once, right? Yeah, complex stuff like if, yeah, this is what I was typing here. And then I can also have a spawning procedure function. So like, right now, when the spawner wants to spawn an enemy, it just spawns it, right? It just creates, it just initializes the packed scene and just makes it, right? So again, it's like a dumb thing. I'd have to have like, if it's actually this type of enemy, do this. If it's this type of enemy, do this, right? For stuff where I wanted to make like 2 enemies at once or whatever, right? So I can make a spawning condition function, sorry, a spawning procedure function. So like, so if spawning procedure is true, I can call, sorry, if spawning conditions is true, I can call spawning procedure, and then that will like, in that I can like do custom things, like, oh, maybe I do just spawn the enemy like corridor, or maybe I do some fancy stuff depending on what type of the enemy is, right? Yeah, and a 1-up could like return false to let the spawner know to keep iterating through the loop instead of breaking, so then I don't have to do this janky bull stuff. So that's my plan. That's what I'm gonna do. Main thing I'm gonna do today is work on this new spawning method. I keep changing the spawning method, but obviously this is like the core of the game, the gameplay. It's like what enemies spawn when and how they spawn is super important, right? Like super duper important. So I thought, yeah, this would be the best way of doing it. It's not like the grab bag system anymore, so the RNG is going to be a bit more random maybe, but maybe I could try to smooth out with some other stuff, we'll see. So yeah, that's what I'm going to be working on today. There you go. Oh, I see what you're saying now with the fucking variable. Right. Ah, yes. Right, I see what you're saying now. My bad. Yep, got you. Oh dear. That's funny. Alright, okay, now it works. There we go. Fucking Christ. And it tells me what's in the shuffle bag. Okay. Oh dear, that's funny. Okay, so now it just spawns basic enemies constantly. Oh my god, I got there. Right. So, after an arduous, like, 2 hours almost, I managed to sort of implement the thing that I was talking about at the beginning of the stream. Okay, wonderful. So now in the spawner, we have a new spawner. Oh, I don't actually need this anymore. We have a spawnable list, which is a list of like all of the spawnables in the whole game. In fact, I'm not even gonna, you know what, I'm not even gonna use this. I'm just gonna do that, sod it, and I can get rid of all this now as well. So at the start, when we create the spawner object, we load in all the enemies. I'm only loading in one right now, and then when the timer runs out, if the shovel bag's empty, we go through the list of spawnables that we made at the start, and for each of them we get spawnable spawning conditions, and then that will return a byte of the number of enemies to add, which is kind of jank, and I don't like it. I need to think of a better name for this. Function. But that's fine for now. So based on the spawning conditions, we get a number, and then for each of those, we add one of the things to the list. Maybe spawning conditions. Wouldn't it make more sense to just pass in spawning conditions to the shuffle bag by a reference? Wait, hold on. I'm changing this in the middle of my explanation of how this works. So spawnable spawning conditions Can't I do a reference like this? Shuffle bag. Isn't that what the star means? Oh, it's a pointer. So then in spawning conditions, we do that to a list of spawnable. Shuffle bag. Maybe passing around the actual... How do I pass the actual list in C#? Well, whatever. Anyway, I'll do that in a minute. But that would probably work better than what I'm doing. But anyway, for now, we go through the whole list, and then based on the number of it, we add it to the shuffle bag. But realistically, spawning conditions should be the thing that adds itself to the shuffle bag. Anyway, I then print out what the shuffle bag contains, and then for each thing in the shuffle bag, we shuffle the shuffle bag. We get a random thing from the shuffle bag, and then then we grab one, and then we do its spawning procedure, and we pass it the thing, and then we remove it from the shuffle bag. And the spawning procedure is where it spawns itself. Yeah. And we get, like, yeah, its own packed file, scene path. Which, to be honest, I probably don't even need this string at all. I could just... Oh no, I want that for the printing of the thing, don't I? Anyway, whatever. It just spawns itself, sets its own position, sets its own sibling, blah blah blah, all that good stuff. Yeah, there we go. Christ, that's complicated. I kind of hate how the spawner goes to the enemy to ask it what to do, and then the enemy sort of does it, but it manipulates the spawner in order to do it. It's kind of weird. I don't really like how that works. It's not like a clean, like, down the chain system. But it works for now. I'm sure I'll come up... If list is a class, I would guess that by passing list is passing a reference to the list. Right, okay, so I can just pass it a list of the shuffle bag. So I give the enemy the shuffle bag, and hey, here, you can do what you want with it. Yeah, in spawning conditions, we just give it the shuffle bag, and then it can, instead of us doing this to the shuffle bag, because maybe the spawning conditions, it wants to empty the shuffle bag, right? And then what it should return should be a bool whether to continue looking through the thing or not, because maybe the spawning condition is empty the fucking shuffle bag, put one thing in it and go. That might be a thing, right? So yeah, we should do that instead. I'm going to do that. But yeah, for now it works. I can get basic enemies spawning. It just means I don't have to write, yeah, that list, and instead, like, in the enemies, I program how they spawn, which makes a lot more sense. At the end of all this, I think somehow, at the end of it, I managed to loop back around to what I was already doing, but I'm just defining them in each of the enemies instead of in one big list in spawner. Which I don't know if is better or not, now that I think about it. But I suppose it's better because, yeah, I can do, like, I'm only doing the difficulty stuff right now, but it's a benefit for the 1-up enemy, because now the 1-up enemy functions completely differently. And, yeah, spawns based on score instead of the thing. Yeah, it does sound reasonable for enemies to know their own spawn conditions, exactly. So if you want to know the spawn condition of the enemy, you go to the enemy, right? Instead of the spawner just knowing it for everyone. Oh my god, okay. It has been 3.5 hours, and I have managed to arrive back at the same point I was at the start. Just now it works slightly differently under the hood. Hooray! Fucking goddammit. Complete... It feels like a waste of my time, but it isn't. I feel like this architecture makes a lot of sense. So the spawner is the thing that still handles whether to spawn the stuff or not. But it's the enemies that know how and when they should spawn. And they do that. But that's fine. Oh my god, I did it. God, what else did I want to do today? You know what, let's do something fucking fun. Let's add a new enemy type. Let's do it. Let's consult my list of enemy types. Find one that actually benefits from this new system and make it. And yeah, the background. Yeah, the scrolling star background. I need to make the scrolling slightly faster, I think. I don't think it's quite fast enough. I'm going to do that. Actually, I'm going to commit. I'm going to commit my changes. Oh my god, I'm going to do it. Right. Oh, here's a quick question. The gameplay controller, the score, I need it to be public so that people can read it, but I don't want people to be able to set it. I can't just do git and no set, because then I can't actually set it myself. Is there a way to make the set private? Like, can I just do private set? Oh, does that just work? Oh, sick. Okay, never mind. Hooray! I solved the problem. Nice. Okay, so people can read the score, but they can't change it. I have a function if they want to change the score, right? Like player scored, because I want to do maths to it. And I don't want all of the things that try to add score doing the maths themselves. I want the gameplay controller to do the maths. Okay, great. Perfect. Okay, now I'm going to commit my code. Commit. Like, changed everything, but also nothing. No, I changed... refactored spawning mechanics again, changed everything but also nothing. I can make funny git commits because it's just me reading it. Changed spawner to consult the enemies themselves for spawning conditions and how many to add to the shuffle bag. Yeah, that's all I did really, is the enemies themselves now know. Allows for more complex spawning requirements, such as for the 1-up, it only spawns every X points. Okay, done. Alright, commit that shit. Hooray! Alright, what new enemy type do we want to add? Let's fucking do something fun. So I've got basic enemy, I've got spiky enemy, I've got DVD screensaver. What's shooting enemy? Shoots when the player's under it, but you want to hit it. That sounds fun. I could also have a DVD enemy that you don't want to hit. That could work. Oh yeah, I also... I don't think I talked about this yet, but the enemy designs. I wanted to use like clear silhouetting for the enemies, because that's like an important game design thing. So we'll make it so square blocks are the ones you have to hit. Triangle blocks, which I'm representing with sideways squares right now. Triangles you don't want to hit. Circles are optional, so the 1-up should be a circle. And then maybe I can come up with some other shapes, right? But yeah, we need to use like clear silhouetting, so we can have like, you know, like a DVD enemy is just a basic enemy, but it moves side to side, so it should probably look the same maybe, or at least have the same silhouette. It could be like colored differently or something. But in this way, we can have a spiky DVD enemy, where it's just a DVD enemy that's a triangle and bounces back and forth, right? Yeah. But the problem is I also wanted to have the blocks like rotate as they travel down, like a little like random velocity, like angular velocity. But the problem is if I do that with the squares, they can look like triangles at certain angles, right? So, like, obviously it's a 4-sided triangle if it's sideways, but I think it'll be, I think it needs to be, what was I saying? I read my phone and lost my train of thought. Yeah, the rotating the squares is kind of a problem because they might look like triangles. I might have to investigate that. But anyway, that's a thing I can worry about later, shaping and stuff. For now, let's just add a spiky DVD enemy, like one you want to dodge instead. So let's do packed nodes. We're gonna open DVD enemy, and I'm gonna How do I duplicate this again? Duplicate. Yeah, spiky. Well, maybe I should rename this to triangle DVD enemy. We might want to start renaming these to make sense with the enemy design. So triangle DVD enemy. Yeah, so for now I'm just going to rotate it. So transform, rotation, 45 degrees. And then we make a new script that is triangle DVD enemy in scripts. Is diamond a better name for that type? No, that's what I mean. I want it to be an actual triangle, not a diamond. I don't have the art assets right now, and I can't be asked to make them, right? That's a thing for later. Right, okay, so triangle, it needs to be an enemy, so I can just take DVD enemy, we can copy, well, not all of it. Actually, no, I could copy literally all of it, put it in here, and just put the word triangle at the start. Right, okay. And then all I need to do is make it so we make the points 200. Yeah, where's oh, we need to re-implement, where's spiky enemy? We need to re-implement reached bottom and on player hit. So at the bottom, yeah, we make it so it's the opposite. So on player hit, they foul, and on reach bottom, they score. Wow, but that was that easy? Shit, this might actually just be that easy. And then we, in spawner, we do spawnables, add new, I have forgotten one part though. We do triangle DVD enemy.spawnable. I did forget one thing. Down here, it needs to spawn triangle DVD enemy. I wonder if there's a way to get, like, this pack scene or whatever, but never mind, that'll do. Okay. Let's see if that works. Oh my god, just adding an enemy that quick would be really cool. We'll see. Maybe I should just up the difficulty at the start. Let's just hack. Difficulty hack. Let's do gameplay controller. We'll just start at like 2. Where's difficulty? Difficulty equals 2. Alright, go. Look at this. Actually implementing gameplay. Oh yeah, and I made it so they lerp to the correct size now instead of jumping. But look, there's some triangles. Yay, DVD triangles. Oh my god, it works. Yay. Oh god, this is cursed. So maybe like spiky enemy should be called like basic triangle. Oh fuck. Ah, damn it. Yeah, this is where that whole inheritance thing people were talking about earlier the other day is a problem where like now I have to re-implement the whole thing every time I want like 2 variations of an enemy. But that's fine, like whatever, I don't care. It's not that difficult unless I add like a 3rd enemy, like an optional DVD enemy, right? Oops, shit, I missed a block. Damn, this is so much harder now with like fucking the DVD enemies. Vindicated, come on. It's not a problem, it's just more manual work, right? Like again, there may have been a better way of doing it pragmatically or whatever, but oh fuck. Ah, fucking Christ. Bonk bonk. Can't DVD enemy have 2 different textures? Yeah, I mean it can. Everything can have a different texture. I just haven't done that. I could color things differently for now, but I want to avoid using color coding because color blindness is like a really common disability, right? So I don't want to have key gameplay elements tied to color alone. So I can't make like the things you want to hit be green and the things you don't want to hit be red, right? Because then people that can't tell the difference between red and green are gonna get fucked, right? So it has to be like shapes is like a way better shape is a way better indicator for this. This is a pretty common thing in board games. Shape also helps. I think you missed the part where I explained that that's going to be solely how the enemies are defined, that one. Make an option to choose your own color for everything. That's annoying and difficult. Thumbs up as a colorblind game. Yeah, it's like, of all the disabilities I could tailor to, this is like a very simple one. Yeah, shape and texture. Texture is another one. Yep, you could use texture. I could, like, have a texture on the enemies to make them, like, look different without using color specifically. Hello, Philip and Catnip. How's it going? We said it at the same time, more or less. No. I mean, like, I talked about this, like, I already have it written down. I talked about this 10 minutes ago, and I had written this down several days ago. That's what I mean. Oh, right. Yeah, it's okay. So something great minds think alike, right? Anyway, I also need to add some kind of, like, restricting feature to where things can be... Oh god, that was terrible. I missed a block, I missed a 1-up, and I hit a block I didn't want to touch. I need to have a... I need to maybe look into having some kind of functionality to limit the distance between the blocks. Because sometimes you can get into an impossible situation, right? Where, like... the 2 blocks are passing you at the same time on opposite ends of the screen. There's like no way. You get like a bowling split, right? So we need to, I need to look into limiting that, because that's a problem right now. But look at this! This looks like a... Ah, I picked that in the wrong order. That was a skill issue. But yeah, look at this. It like actually looks kind of cool now. It looks fairly varied. Even without like, yeah, the objects rotating or like any textures or anything. Just having the random variation on size, rotation, initial rotation, and speed makes things look very varied. It's cool. Anyway, I added a new enemy. It's a DVD spiky. That was very quick. I obviously need to make it so it spawns at different points. But that's fine, because I can do that within the triangle DVD enemy itself. And I can just in here write stuff. So we want to do this at like that, I think. There could also be a plan ahead mode. Place somewhere, then freezes for 20 seconds with no possibility to move and has to stay alive, and of course collect as many points as possible. So, sorry, what? Hang on. I was reading this in the context of spawning enemies. Hang on, I'll read that in a second. Let me implement what I wanted to do here. So that. Yeah. So now we have like these as well. Maybe I don't want as many DVD enemies. Maybe this should just be one. And maybe they shouldn't spawn quite as fast. It should be like that, I think. And then these should be like here, and this, and this. Yeah, because I can add lots more variety. Anyway, that was a new enemy. I'll look into adding a new one, and I'll do that in a bit. Sibling. Fuck me. Okay. Did I spell that right? I hope I did. Okay, alright, come on. This time it'll work. Hooray! Oh my god, that's so dumb. Okay, right. Thank fuck for that. Okay, so the shooting enemy is in. The new difficulty scaling is in, even though I'm starting at 2 difficulty for testing purposes. Oh my god, it all works. What a fucking miracle. No more errors. Okay. Fuck's sake. I wonder why it wanted to be deferred. I guess because it's happening in an event? I'm not sure. In any case, shooting enemies are in with their silly, terrible crosshair. Terrible placeholder crosshair. But yeah, in your idle time... Ah, fuck. In your idle time, if you can, it's like worth to hit the crosshairs now. So it gives you like an extra thing to do. So that's good. Commit highly suggested. Last was 2 hours ago. Yeah. I've been working on the same thing this entire time. I'm gonna stop streaming now for anyway. But let's do a little playthrough. So I made it so the difficulty scales way slower, but I made it so the enemies types just spawn faster in. So this is the correct difficulty now. So this is what it looks like at the start, but obviously this is going to need so much tweaking. But the more enemies you hit in a row, the faster the difficulty increases. So yeah, me hitting all the enemies in a row like this makes it so the difficulty goes up. The one-up object, enemy, whatever, doesn't spawn unless my difficulty's been up since last time as well. It's just so much better now. Okay. Boop, boop. Hello. One up. Okay. Yeah, so this is good. Yep, now we're getting the DVD ones. Which, because their rotation go like sideways now, which is funny. They go a little bit sideways. I could fix it to be like global. Oops, global position instead, but yeah, I'm not doing that. And oops, I hit the spike enemy that I shouldn't. Oh, don't touch that one. Yeah, so my difficulty doesn't decrease as massively when you make a mistake anymore, which is good. But it will still take a while to start ramping up again. But that's fine, I think. I think not going backwards is hard and just increasing slower is good. Hello, let's grab that. Let's not take that. I think I want to introduce the new enemy types as fast as I am, but have less of them spawn. Just so, like, you only see one at a time. Right. Keep going. When does the shooting enemy spawn again? So I'll figure it out when a crosshair happens, right? Oh, there's one. Okay. Ah. Huh. But I want it to be like, when you first play the game, you should like progress up to this point where like you start seeing more like enemy types and stuff. But tutorializing the enemy types is going to be very difficult. They're going to have to be like very instinctive, because there isn't really like, I can't just like pause the game and bring up a fucking tutorial box or some stupid shit like that. I'm never getting that one up. They would need to just be instinctively obvious. So I would need to make it so that... Oh, that was a mistake. Oh, just let that cube go. Yeah, I would need to make it... Maybe I could have a thing where that's like... I'm already tracking in the stats how many times you see an enemy and everything. That was really stupid. Oh, I lost so many lives. So maybe like the first time you see it, it could be like spawn on its own. Because I do have the power now to do like... With the new spawning method stuff, I do have the power to do custom things with like... Oh, this is the first time you've seen this enemy. Maybe clear the... Maybe increase the spawn time after it to 2 seconds instead of 1 second, so that... You know... Wait 2 extra seconds before you spawn it, and then wait 2 extra seconds before you make another one. So the first time you see an enemy, it's like the only enemy on the screen for a minute, and you can look at it to figure it out. And that sort of stuff can be subtle. So like the first 3 times you see the enemy, it's like yeah, like try to make it the only thing on screen at least a little bit. Stuff like that. Need to do that sort of like just natural tutorial stuff. If it feels like a tutorial, it was a bad tutorial, right? Fuck, I missed that. But I need to do that sort of stuff because I don't know how obvious all of these things are going to be. It's obvious to me because I made it, but it's obvious to you because I sat here and talked about it for like 20 minutes before adding it. That was terrible at the end there. Make every other than new object half transparent. Slow and disable collision check. Yeah, maybe we do need to do something absolutely ridiculously extreme like that. But yeah, that is a benefit to checking like the spawning of all this stuff. Where is shooting enemy? Do I have a thing for it? Basic enemies seen. No, I need to make a stat for let's shooting enemies seen. Like that. And then shooting enemy scene ++. Yeah, so like on the in this spawning stuff, if it should spawn or not, we can check that like, hey, if this is the first 3 times you've seen this enemy, disable other stuff from spawning for a sec. And wait an extra second before you do it, right? Something like that. I can do that sort of logic stuff. I'm gonna write that down actually, that's a thing to write down. Enemy tutorials. So first X times 3 you see a new enemy type. Get spawner to slow down massively. Clear the shuffle bag and clear the shuffle bag and spawn enemy in a way in which it's not surrounded whether by other enemies. Yeah, try to find ways to make it clear what each type does. Okay. Anyway, that's another thing. That's a thing for another day. Thanks a lot for watching, everybody. YouTube and Twitch. I don't know if this is the end of the YouTube video. I don't know how I'm editing these exactly, but yeah. I'm gonna go have dinner now because I'm flipping hungry. Yeah, thanks for watching. See you later. That's the end of day 5 or something. Alright, bye.